The sun was dipping below the Texas horizon, casting a golden glow over Willow Hollow Ranch, a 150-year-old legacy of the Carter family. I'm Ethan Carter, and this land, its rolling pastures, weathered barn, and creaky porch swing, has been in my blood since my great-grandfather hammered the first nail into this house. But 3 months ago, my world turned upside down when a woman in stilettos stormed onto my property, waving a manila envelope and screaming, "Sign the deed, or I'm calling the cops!" Her name was Victoria Steele, a real estate shark with glossy red lipstick and a suit that screamed money. She claimed she'd bought my ranch at a silent auction, flashing papers that declared her the rightful owner. I gripped the screen door, heart pounding. "You're trespassing," I said, voice steady despite the rage bubbling inside. "This ranch isn't for sale. Never was." Victoria smirked, her sunglasses glinting. "I paid in full. You're squatting." Before I could blink, she shoved past me into my home, her heels clicking on the hardwood my ancestors laid. I stood frozen, watching her trail her manicured nails along my family photos like she was pricing them for a yard sale. This wasn't her first visit, but now she'd crossed the line. "What do you mean you bought it?" I demanded, following her. She spun around, her voice dripping with condescension. 2 months ago, at a foreclosure auction. I've been patient, Ethan, but it's time to leave before I get the sheriff involved." My pulse spiked. Foreclosure? My taxes were paid through next year. This was no mistake, she was gunning for my land. As I reached for my phone to call my lawyer, her assistant, a nervous kid in a cheap suit, walked in holding a "for sale" sign. "Where do you want this?" he asked her. That's when it hit me, Victoria wasn't bluffing. She had a plan, and I was in her way. It all started 3 months earlier, when I spotted a sleek white Mercedes parked outside my fence. Willow Hollow sits off a quiet gravel road, surrounded by acres of open land and a windmill that's stood since the 1800s. Strangers don't just wander here. I was mending a fence when I saw her, Victoria, snapping photos and talking fast on her phone. I waved, thinking she was lost. She didn't wave back. "Hi there," I called, approaching with a smile. "You okay?" She barely glanced at me, her voice clipped. "I'm fine. Just checking a listing." "Listing?" I laughed, confused. "Ma'am, this ranch isn't for sale. I own it." She smirked, like I told a bad joke. "Oh, honey, it was in a foreclosure portfolio. My buyer's offer was accepted. I'm just here to inspect it." "Foreclosure?" I said, incredulous. "My taxes are paid. You've got the wrong place." She checked her phone, muttering, "Are you Ethan Carter?" When I nodded, she went quiet, then sped off, leaving a dust cloud in her wake. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. A week later, I found flyers in my mailbox. "Coming soon, Luxury Ranch Estates." They featured photos of my house, my barn, even my horse, Daisy. Furious, I tracked down the source, Victoria Steele, self-proclaimed real estate queen of Central Texas. I called her, left voicemails demanding she stop. She ignored me. Then she showed up again, this time with a couple in tow, snapping pictures like tourists. "Y'all are on private property," I said, keeping my tone firm. The couple looked confused. "Isn't this place vacant?" they asked Victoria. She flashed a fake smile. "The current owner's temporary. We're in negotiations." "Negotiations?" I nearly lost it. "There's no deal!" I shouted. She hustled them back to her car, but not before leaning in close. "You're making this harder than it needs to be, Ethan. Sign the papers, and I'll cut you in." "Cut me in?" I snapped. "This is my family's land." Her eyes gleamed. "Not for long." That's when I knew she wasn't mistaken, she was malicious. I spent weeks digging through records with my lawyer, Tom Reed. My deed was clean, taxes paid, no foreclosure. But Victoria kept coming. She brought landscaping crews, tried installing a fancy gate, even held an illegal open house with wine, catering, and banners. My pasture became a playground, my porch a party venue. She even tied a ribbon around Daisy like she was a prop. I was livid. One day, she marched into my kitchen, demanding my documents. "Make this quick," she sneered. I slammed my hand on the table. "Get out of my house!" Before she could respond, the front door burst open. The sheriff and 2 deputies stood there, eyes on me. "Mr. Carter," the sheriff said, "we've got to report you're trespassing. We need to talk." My jaw dropped. Victoria had called the cops on me. She handed the sheriff a folder, claiming it held proof she'd bought the ranch at a state auction. The sheriff compared her papers to my deed, frowning. "Both deeds have the same parcel number. Only one's real." I jabbed a finger at Victoria. "Hers is fake." She smiled sweetly. "Or yours is outdated. It happens with old properties." The sheriff ordered me off the land until the county could verify ownership. Victoria gloated, already calling a locksmith. I left, but I wasn't giving up. Staying at my cousin Luke's place, I poured out the story. Luke, a grizzled trailer dealer, squinted. "She's done this before. Conned a widow out of her land 3 years ago." My blood boiled. This was no error, it was a scheme. Luke suggested I talk to a county clerk, Sam, who owed him a favor. At the county office, Sam confirmed my deed was legit, tracing back to 1873. But he found something chilling. My land had been misfiled as unclaimed after a tax office flood 2 years prior. Someone, Victoria, had exploited the glitch to claim it. Worse, her purchase was still pending, not finalized. She jumped the gun, trespassing on my land. I raced back to the ranch, only to find the gate gone, replaced by a sign. "Private property, Victoria Steel Realty." An open house was in full swing, guests sipping wine, kids running wild, a food truck parked by my barn. Victoria, in a silver dress, was giving a speech about historic charm. I saw red. "Get off my land!" I roared, storming through the crowd. A wine glass shattered. Victoria waved me off, microphone in hand. "This man's under investigation for illegal occupancy." She lied. I held up Sam's papers. "Your sale's pending." "You're the trespasser!" Murmurs rippled through the guests. An older woman stepped forward, tossing Victoria's brochure. "If this is his home, I'm not buying into a scam." Others followed, leaving in droves. Victoria's smile cracked. Then a moving truck rolled in, ready to empty my house. Daisy, spooked, broke free and galloped off. I turned to Victoria, fists clenched. "You've crossed every line." She said nothing, but her eyes burned with defiance. That night, Sam called. "The judge on her occupancy order?" "Retired 2 months ago. It's forged." My heart raced. This wasn't just fraud, it was a crime. I stormed into Tom's office, waving the fake order. "She's done," I said. Tom filed an emergency injunction and alerted the district attorney. The next morning, the sheriff evicted Victoria. Her movers scrambled, her banners torn down. I sat on my porch swing, watching her empire crumble. But Victoria wasn't finished. A new deed arrived, citing a 1971 default clause. Tom cursed. "It's fake. The notary's been dead a decade." Worse, my truck's brake lines were cut, nearly killing me. My cousin Ray, a retired federal investigator, took over. He traced a threatening Polaroid of me to a San Marcos shop, where a woman matching Victoria's description had bought film. "She's not alone," Ray warned. Ray tracked her to a cabin in Pine Ridge. Marshals arrested her, her smug facade gone. Charged with forgery, fraud, and endangerment, she was denied bail. I thought it was over. Then came a lawsuit from her investors, demanding $4.2 million for a breached contract. Tom countersued, presenting Victoria's confession video. The judge tossed the case, and the investors turned on her. Casey Holt, a Houston journalist, exposed Victoria's network, a web of fake companies, corrupt clerks, and shady realtors targeting rural land. Her report, "The Ranch Heist," went viral. Federal arrests followed, and Willow Hollow was declared a protected landmark. I rebuilt the gate, repainted the sign. Willow Hollow Ranch, EST 1873, Carter family. But peace was fleeting. A final envelope arrived, containing a Polaroid of me on my porch, dated days ago. The note read, "Willow Hollow was just the beginning." Someone was still watching. I tightened security, added cameras, and walked my fence line nightly. The war was won, but the fight wasn't over. Willow Hollow stands strong, a testament to my family's grit. Let them come. They'll learn the Carters don't break. What do you think? Was Victoria a lone wolf or part of a bigger machine? Share your thoughts in the comments, and tell us, have you ever faced a scam that pushed you to fight back? Let's keep this conversation going.